shifting the demons from the classic interpretation of evil beings created or corrupted by some dark force to what are essentially sociopaths with a serial killer gene doesn't change that they're beings who we're told are wholly irredeemable because of this, even though they can think logically and understand morality and all that. We're just told that doesn't matter.
Hello everybody. There has been a surge in popularity and attention now that the manga turned anime series Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, which has received a second season which is currently airing as of recording this part, and many people are eager to see it, which shows from the sheer amount of fan art to videos to general online discussion about the second season and how great the show / manga is. It is very obvious that the show and manga have been received very positively in the general public. On a side note, my personal favorite fan artist for Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, is this one dude who makes the Frieren X Halo crossover art. You should check him out. While Frieren is undoubtedly a great show, as based on its reviews, it is not without its flaws, and one such flaw, according to a certain group of people online, is the topic of demons in Frieren. Demons in Frieren, for the basic rundown, are descendants of man-eating creatures, strong in magic, and are the primary antagonists of the series so far. Apparently there's discourse surrounding them because of the belief that these man-eating demons are a not-so-secret metaphor for minorities. I'm not kidding, by the way. There are tons of posts giving the show grief for having the audacity to depict an inherently evil race as evil. From posts calling the fans of the show racist and fascist for the evil crime of hating a race which has done nothing but genocide and commit mass murder even to this day. Some of the crimes of the demons include waging a war that cut humanity down to a third of its population, while attempting to genocide elves in that same war, to sending a false peace envoy trying to trick humans into lowering city shields so it can be destroyed with an army, and many other examples which I will cover later on in this video. Yeah, I'm surprised as to why people don't like the demons in Frieren. Truly a mystery. The defense of the demons went so far that people would actually make nearly hour-long videos on the topic in order to justify why the demons aren't actually the bad guys, despite every action they have made towards other groups and people to be downright murderous, deceitful, and deplorable. Despite that, he still defends the demons and claims that there can still be good demons in Frieren. Then when everyone is fed up with this talking point because people don't like comparing fictional races to minorities for some reason, the same group of people going hating demons is fascist and racist try and switch up by saying the demons actually represent racists and white people now. And all of a sudden now, they have no issues demonizing demons now that they can twist it into their advantage. So nice to know that the generic evil race is now being weaponized in spurgy culture war shit. The overall defense of the demons is so weird too, because imagine if we applied that same mindset to other fictional evil races in other games / shows. Imagine if people were doing the evil races are helpless minorities for the Goa'uld or Wraith in Stargate, the demons in Doom, or since I'm going to use it as background gameplay, the necromorphs in Dead Space. Although some of the necromorphs are black, so they could probably say the word. I know there was also discourse surrounding Starship Troopers and bugs, but I will talk about that later on in the video. I have also seen a lot of people debate on if the demons are objectively evil, or if just objective evil can exist at all. And to that I say, actions speak louder than words. Let the demons show you if they're evil or not based on their actions. Now if only I had a section detailing their actions in Frieren. Oh wait, I do. Keep in mind that when I speak about the demons, I am mainly speaking from an in-universe perspective. I don't really care about the whole objectively evil debate in general, and I only want to focus on the demons in Frieren. Go find some other place to show off what you learned in Philosophy 101. I mainly made this video because I just want to be able to enjoy one of the more popular shows recently made, without being defamed as some sort of racist / fascist for thinking that a race that does bad things is bad, which I think is pretty fair. Overall, there has been very weird and annoying discourse surrounding the demons in Frieren because people are unable to separate fictional races from real-world people, and it's really annoying how this issue has seemingly gone on for years, all because people want to act super pretentious and pretend that they have media literacy, and intellectually jerk themselves off when in reality, a lot of it is their self-projected beliefs about minorities. It's really just a bunch of people who think they're smarter than they really are, trying to show off and strut their stuff. But without further ado, let's see how all these talking points actually hold up.
The government knows. The government knows. The government knows.
Before we can properly talk about the Frieren discourse surrounding the demons though, it is important that we establish what the demons are in Frieren exactly, and all of the actions they have taken in both the anime and the manga before we can determine if Frieren's goal of killing all demons is unfounded, racist, fascist, alt-right talking points, since apparently online spurgs decided to relate demons to minorities. The demons in Frieren are essentially evolved descendants of man-eating monsters who learn to mimic human speech in order to lure unsuspecting humans in order to eat them. As time went on though, they obviously refined and evolved their approach until we have the modern-day demons in Frieren, which look similar to humans, bar the horns that they have. They live as long as elves, and also use a power-based hierarchy to rule derived from their mana level, although they each work towards refining one particular spell. On that note, they also consider mana to be very important to them, with attempts to hide it considered disgraceful and cowardly. Personality-wise, aside from being very prideful in their mana due to it being a status symbol like we have with money, their personalities are largely incompatible with other races, not just humans, due to their ability to deceive and kill others, as well as being antisocial, and while they do have emotions, they are unable to grasp certain emotions and concepts like empathy, guilt, or malice, especially in the case of Govt. This obviously ties back into the deceive and kill others part, like a demon crying out for its mother despite the fact that all demons are abandoned at birth, while it is holding a little girl hostage, or the fake peace envoy sent to destroy Graf Granite's city. By the way, I would like to remind everyone, they still commonly kill humans for sport or for eating, despite the fact that they no longer need to do so to survive, since they are now omnivores, removing the "they're only bad and eat humans for survival" argument. Ultimately though, I'm not really that surprised that demons still hunt and eat humans despite the fact that they no longer need to, especially considering the fact that they lack certain concepts or emotions such as empathy or guilt, are powerful in both physical and magical strength, and have origins from man-eating monsters. And it's no wonder why demons kill tons of people. They are or were biologically hardwired to eat human flesh and don't feel bad when they kill people. So in other words, fork found in kitchen. Moving on to the actions with the demons in Frieren though, one day, to make a long story short, they united together under the Demon King and then proceeded to wage war for over 1,000 years against all of the other sapient races. So nice to know that people are strangely defensive of the man-eating warmongers since they remind them of the blacks apparently. Moving on though, obviously after 1,000 years of this war, we know that Frieren partners up with Himmel, Heiter, and Eisen in order to kill the Demon King, which they successfully do, ending the 1,000-year war. But this victory did not come without devastating consequences. For starters, we know that it reduced humanity's sphere of influence down to 1/3, also implying that humanity's population was cut down to 1/3 of its original size also, and that they attempted to genocide the elves, destroying many elven villages, one of which Frieren was in, leaving her as the sole survivor there. While thankfully they weren't able to successfully carry out their genocide of the elves, the elven population was severely depleted in the current time frame of Frieren. So not only were the demons warmongers, they were also genocidal with the intended goal of wiping out the elven race. Now, I don't know about you guys, but something tells me that genocide is bad, okay? And is therefore considered evil, to put it lightly. Even in the first season of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, after the Demon King is defeated and we see her with Vernon Stark, we get to see more wonderful actions of how these demons act. There was of course Frieren's backstory and how she first met Flam, who rescued Frieren from her village as the sole survivor and defeated the pursuing demons who came back to finish the job, and then afterwards taught Frieren mana suppression. Of course we also can't forget Qual and his Zoltrax spell, but there's also some other flashbacks we get, primarily in the form of when Frieren is in Himmel's party and after defeating a group of demons in a village, they encounter a demon girl survivor, who Frieren obviously wants to kill, especially after said demon has already killed a child. As Himmel moves to kill the demon, she calls out for her mom, despite the fact that they are solitary by nature and don't have parents, which gives Himmel pause. Then as Frieren prepares to kill the demon, the village chief intervenes and said he would like to raise the demon himself, letting the village chief raise her with his family. While things seemingly work out in the beginning, in a completely shocking and unexpected turn of events, the demon child kills the chief, burns down his house. Apparently the demon did this because she felt their desire to kill her and she just wanted to live in peace. So she killed the village chief so that she could give his daughter to the family of the child she ate. And I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory as to why that doesn't work. And when the villagers are pissed at her, she holds his daughter captive. Only then are Frieren and Himmel able to actually kill the demon. The demon tries calling out for mom again, but that trick isn't gonna work twice. And when Frieren questions the demon on why she called out for a non-existent mother, despite the fact that demons are left to fend for themselves at birth, the demon replies with, "It's because people won't kill her if she does." Keep in mind the demon also used this excuse when Himmel was about to kill her for the first time. Yeah, absolutely crazy how people can think that demons are the bad guys. It's already insanely manipulative to appeal to a non-existent mother, quadruply so when you do it twice after first killing someone's daughter and then attacking the village chief and holding his daughter hostage. For God's sake, the demon admits that they only say it so that people won't kill them. They obviously don't understand empathy, except for how to exploit it, which is a sign of sociopathy. In the same episode of that flashback, by the way, there is a bigger multi-episode plot where Frieren gets arrested in the city after trying to kill demons. Since they were actually there for a peace talk, which was led by a demon named Luger, on behalf of Aura the Guillotine. While Frieren explains while she's being arrested that demons only learn language to deceive humans, her concerns are brushed aside, and to make a long story short, she is sentenced for 2 to 3 years in jail. Luckily for Frieren, she was right on the money with her prediction when it was revealed that the Peace Envoy was nothing more than an attempt to get Graf Granite to get the city to lower its shields, so that Aura the Guillotine could come in with her army and destroy it. One of the Peace members, Drott, kills the guard watching Frieren and then tries to kill her, which backfires and allows her to escape. Then afterwards, when Granite questions the disappearance of Drott and Frieren and questions Lugner about the dead guard, he finds out that the peace talk was fake, which then causes Lugner to kill Granite's guards and then hold him captive and torture him to try and force him to release his shield over the city. Oh no guys, the demons are just really misunderstood creatures. They just wanted peace so bad while they had an army on standby to destroy a town. So they torture the only person who can lower the city shields after he finds out that the peace talks are a lie. This obviously is supposed to represent minorities somehow. The rest of the arc is just Frieren, Fern, and Stark rescuing Granite, and then they all fight a 1v1 with Frieren and Aurora, Fern versus Lugan, and Stark versus Linny, with Frieren's party winning their fight and resolving that arc. There are 2 additional interesting interactions though that should be noted with the demons aside from the obvious betrayal. The first is that when Frieren first addresses the demons, she refers to them as beasts, and later on, they actually agree with her assessment of them, meaning that the demons themselves believe that they are wild beasts, albeit smart magical powered ones. So I don't know why people get so mad at demons being, well, demonized, when they do it to themselves. The other interaction is when Granite and Lugner were talking, and Granite mentions how he keeps his son's room the same as it was when he died in the 28-year conflict between Aura and Granite City. And Lugner mentions that he did the same, despite later on admitting that he doesn't even know what a father is, which is the same manipulative sociopathic bullshit that the girl demon did in Frieren's flashback. Keep in mind, by the way, that all of this happens in the first season of the anime, aka the first 60 chapters of the manga. From this section alone, we know that demons waged a genocidal war against the elves and decimated the population of all the other sentient races for 1,000 years before Himmel's hero party. We also know that the demons wiped out Frieren's village, leaving her as the sole survivor, and if it wasn't for Flamme, she would have died. Even in current day, they continue to plague humanity, such as having a Trojan horse guest peace talk in order to lead a false flag operation to lower city shields and have said city destroyed. So my ultimate question is, why continue to defend the demons? Even if the demons themselves aren't objectively evil, every action that the demons have taken in the show and manga was every action they have taken not only a plight against humanity, but all the other races in the world of Frieren. I also decided to read through the manga on completely legal manga sites on the off chance that there were moments where the demons were actually good, and what I found was very interesting. The first thing I saw, which was already put into the anime, was when Frieren and party hunt down the sword demon, where it's revealed that demons no longer need to eat humans to survive. Despite that, this demon elected to trick people into prayer and kill them when they close their eyes before eating them. Yeah, I can't see why a demon killing humans for sport is supposed to make me believe that demons aren't inherently evil when it's not even a matter of survival anymore, and they still choose to kill people. Keep in mind too that this demon's goal of retrieving a sword from a noble family has already been accomplished, so all those extra kills wandering the countryside were just for funsies, apparently. Frieren even spoke to the sword demon, and she didn't even pretend to feel bad about her actions. Not one bit. While it is true that some demons, such as Mott and the Demon King, did want peace, the core issue is that demons have no understanding of emotions like humans do, and their inherent nature as deceptive, emotionless man-eating predators who only learn language to hunt humans better get in the way of coexistence. They fundamentally do not understand concepts and emotions like evil, justice, guilt, morality, and malice, essentially making them sociopathic, especially when you consider that they only say words that will provide them with the best reaction for their present scenario, which is why any attempt to make peace with them ends in tragedy, as they end up killing people due to their lack of understanding of human emotions and their origins as man-eating monsters, and then somehow still act surprised when people universally loathe and avoid them. The Demon King wanted coexistence, and that led him to wage a 1,000-year war against all the other races that killed 2/3 of humanity and almost genocided the elves. Mott turned entire towns into gold and made children fight to the death in order to try and discover what malice and guilt is. So even in best case scenario, if a demon does truly want peace and coexistence, the fact that they can't understand certain human emotions and concepts, are magically and physically strong, and are descendants of man-eating monsters means that one day, even the most peaceful of demons will have an errant thought that putting 1,000 humans into a meat grinder will help with peace and then proceed to act on that on a whim, not understanding why that is a bad thing. It's like someone saying that they want to be friends with you while mag dumping an AA-12 into your chest. I mean, sure, they say that they want to be friends, and they might even believe it, but their actions tell a whole different story. TLDR is that due to demons not actually understanding humans, even if they truly want peace, this inherent difference in emotions means that even if demons do want peace, it will only result in human death and suffering. The bottom line is that every interaction with demons is negative, whether or not they are hostile or peaceful, and they should be avoided or dealt with at all costs. You would think the fact that demons evolved from man-eating monsters and still chose to harm humans, or the fact that every interaction with a demon has been very negative to say the least, would be a red flag to anyone who tries to defend the demons by saying that they're an allegory for black people or something, or calling people fascists. This whole argument about how demons represent minorities doesn't even make sense though, especially because humans already exist in Frieren beyond Journey's End. Why go through all that extra effort to dog whistle in minorities when you could only just use black people doing terrible crimes? The main issue that I see from this discourse is that people believe that somehow showing a genocidal, violent human-eating race will somehow make people watching Frieren turn racist. Which is not only a crazy self-own projecting your own beliefs of racism after seeing genocidal, deceitful creatures and comparing them to minorities, but also fails for 3 simple reasons. The main issue that I see from this discourse is that people believe that somehow showing a genocidal, violent human-eating race will somehow make people watching Frieren turn racist. Which is not only a crazy self-own projecting your own beliefs of racism after seeing genocidal, deceitful creatures and comparing them to minorities, but also fails for 3 simple reasons. The first reason is the fact that if someone was so racist that if they saw Frieren and immediately started to view demons as minorities, they were going to do that regardless. Do you guys seriously think that some uber racist is just going to be accepting of minorities if this show never aired? No, if it wasn't Frieren, it would either be some other show or just real-world examples they would use to justify their bigotry. They don't need a show with evil creatures in it to justify their racism. The second reason, assuming the other implication is that Frieren will brainwash regular people into becoming racist, is that if a singular show is enough to flip-flop random glupshitto's mind into becoming racist after seeing demons, then they're fucking retarded! They have a weak will and are easily swayed by others and have 0 convictions. Why do you guys actually care what they say? If a singular show is enough to make someone 180 on a deep personal worldview, I'm not interested in what you have to say. Go flip-flop somewhere else. The third and final reason is that there is no grander purpose than what the demons are supposed to represent, like the orcs in Lord of the Rings, the wraiths in Stargate, and the necromorphs in Dead Space. They are just a big bad that the main character or characters have to defeat, and who are the antagonists to the main character or characters in their respective universes. Because what's the point of a show if there's no foil to the good or bad guys? They are there to help with the narrative/story, and do not/should not represent minorities. Anyone who views these generic bad guys as something deeper in our real world is downright delusional and projecting their own racist beliefs onto fictional races, regardless of what side they're on the political spectrum saying this bullshit. The black pill that these people are just gonna have to accept is that anything that has a massive audience will statistically gather groups of undesirable people, but they should not affect your overall view of the show. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Basically, the demons are powered up magical descendants of man-eating monsters who have had a long history of war and genocide on every other race, and given the opportunity will backstab and kill people. Like was that demon girl who, after being taken in by the village chief, killed him and held his daughter hostage, or that peace envoy led by Lugner who wanted the city to lower its shield so Org could come in with her army and destroy the place. Despite all of this and all the other stuff I've said, somehow people still want to defend the demons and say that anyone who hates them and wants them killed is racist or fascist. I genuinely don't know why people would self-own like this by saying how the genocidal, murderous, deceitful race represents minorities, and anyone who wants to see the demons get killed is a racist, fascist, crypto-fascist, alt-right dog whistler, incel chud buzzword, blah blah blah. And I hate to play this card, but the majority of people I see saying that Frieren is for racists and fascists based on how this show handles demons are lefties. If this makes me an alt-right chud for pointing out the obvious, then so be it. As someone who has eyes and a fair bit of left-wing beliefs, it's very clear what group of people are bashing on Frieren mostly. While doing research for this video, I was only able to find one example of a right-wing person saying that Frieren was racist. And it's Think Before You Speak, the dude known for acting and talking like the living embodiment of the nerd emoji. So I don't really consider him a factor. So as I said before, the demons in Frieren raised some concerns with a small but vocal minority on X, the Everything app, and they weren't happy. From talking about how all Frieren fans are racist and how Frieren is for fascists, it is absolutely crazy to me how people could see one of the more popular animes in recent time, and saying all of that is absolutely crazy to me. Seeing an evil race that commits bad deeds and saying they represent minorities is a self-own of unimaginable proportions. So let's take a look at some of these tweets and how they're hot dog shit garbage by pseudo-intellectual retards trying to get the next big hit online. The first big hitter is from this fine individual who has multiple tweets about how Frieren is for fascists. Just tweet after tweet talking about how people hating demons are fascists. This is the same guy, by the way, when he isn't getting into spurg fights from saying autistic stuff online. He's calling people fascists for eating a fuck ton of eggs and doubling down on it, so that should tell you how reliable his claims of fascism really are. You know, I think this dude's a real expert on fascism. His claims of Frieren being fascist are definitely sound in reality, and definitely not because he is self-projecting his feelings of minorities onto demons. This dude is so bad faith that it hurts. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he's a right-wing psyop deliberately designed to make the left look bad. And I know for a fact I'm not the only person that believes this. It's also funny too because he posts quote-unquote proof about how Frieren is for fascists, and so far his proof is people posting meme images comparing how two different shows handle demons. Which isn't fascism since it's just a joke on how each show handles demons the way they do. Was Demon Slayer giving flashbacks for tragic backstories of demons before they turned? I also assume demons aren't fully evil in the Devil May Cry animated show. While in Frieren, every demon, even when given the chance for peace, exploits that. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. Also, apparently cosplayers are now fascists for dressing up as Frieren and quoting her, or comparing Frieren with other forms of media or religion that hate demons. What's next? The Doomslayer's fascist because he kills demons? Will this dude still be calling people who are happy about killing demons in Frieren fascists if it was revealed that these demons tried to genocide the elves by putting them in gas chambers? Or is that too on the nose for this moron? The main reasoning for all of this is apparently the fact that the demons aren't morally wrong, despite every action the demons have taken being antagonistic and predatory to people, which Evan somehow doesn't understand. He also got into really cringy Spurg slap fights with other Govt shittos in the replies of some of these tweets, which is really funny because it's revealed that he does like the show, and he also outright thinks that Frieren is a lovable little Nazi. Yeah, I have no idea what bro is doing here. He's talking about people being fascist while saying how he thinks that the main character is a lovable little Nazi from a show that he himself loves. Hey man, why would you like a show that has fascism in it and is led by a cute little fascist? Now tell me, what are you trying to say about yourself? Is this one of those Among Us sussy self-report moments? That's like when in Fraser's Shadows defamed Wendigoon as an alt-righter by saying he wears Hawaiian shirts as an alt-right dog whistle, while in that very same video, in Fraser's Shadows was also wearing a Hawaiian shirt himself.
Also, it should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. And guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt, despite the fact that he publicly totally does not share in their beliefs, guys. I'm just saying.
Guys, what are you doing? Stop hitting yourselves. Dude, you're in your 40s posting this tard-ass shit. You're 25 years too old to be acting like this. Pack it up, Evan. You have cancer. Honestly, Evan here should just go back to talking about how he should let kids jerk off or something. Much more up his alley. The next tweet up is from this individual who, after seeing a tweet where someone talks about how demons lie about empathy, they proceed to make a false equivalent about how this is actually an anti-Semitic dog whistle to say that demons lie about empathy. I mean, yeah, it's true, demons leave their young to fend for themselves. They genuinely don't understand the concept of empathy, and every action they have taken towards people has been hostile and antagonistic, regardless of whether or not they actually have any peaceful intentions or not. These are the same demons that tried to use a false peace envoy to get a city to lower its shield so an army could destroy it. Are we even watching the same show now? Yeah man, Frieren is such an anti-Semitic monster for killing that demon girl who, even after killing people, was taken in by the village chief only to kill him and try and hold his daughter hostage. This is for sure like those shifty Jews, man. You got it. Your heckin' media literacy is skyrocketing right now through the roof. Your first thought seeing some guy talk about how demons take advantage of empathy was an example attached is to immediately talk about killing all Jewish people and how they control the banks. It's nice to know that the deceitful, evil race immediately reminds you of Jewish people. Can't imagine why people don't like the demons when every interaction with a demon in Frieren has been inherently negative towards humanity. I will say I'm surprised someone with a Palestinian flag in their name views anti-Semitic tropes as a bad thing, when most of their criticism on Israel sounds like it's been ripped verbatim from Nick Fuentes. If you want an example of this, then look no further than the terror attack in Bodney Beach in Sydney, where 15 people, some of them being children, died from being gunned down in a public Hanukkah party, and considered the worst terrorist attack in Australia. And you had a bunch of people somehow getting mad when a Jewish person was sad about other Sorry, I forgot you guys like to call them Zionists. So when Zionists died, it got so bad that you had left-wing people start to say that it was that the Bondi Beach shooting was a Mossad Israel Zionist psyop. Basically doing a Nazi meme of a Jewish person self-hate criming themselves, but in the name of Palestine. What are we doing, man? Why are we having Alex Jones tier conspiracies, but for the left? Keep in mind, by the way, that this attack happened to Jewish people living in Australia, meaning that they're not even related to Israel aside from the fact that they're both Zionists. But I was told that there's apparently a difference between Jews and Zionists. Why are we dragging Israel into an event that happened in Australia? As a result of this, I'm honestly not surprised that the left would also adopt the noticing dog whistle used by the far right to point out Zionist activity. Even in tweets where people point out how leftists use far-right rhetoric against Zionist people, you had people in his replies proving his point. I'm just starting to think that Zionist hatred is a bipartisan issue, and no one actually fucks with Jews. The left only pretended to in order to be contrarian to the far right, but now that Israel is widely hated by everyone, and for good reason too, they can finally drop the act. That's the only possible solution for seeing people act so rabid about 15 Jews in Australia dying in a mass shooting. So I have no idea why this bozo is pretending to care about anti-Semitism when he's on the same side as people who use anti-Semitic arguments just because of Israel against the wider Jewish population and runs defense for a genocidal race that lies and backstabs. Would the elves not be the Palestinians in Frieren since the demons tried to genocide them? And would that not mean that the demons would be what's that phrase us lefties like to say online? Yes, spiritually Israeli, but I don't really expect much from a media illiterate chud like this person. I still can't get over the fact that this person saw a fictional evil race lie about having a father, and immediately decide to compare them to Jews. Oy vey, stop noticing, goyim. There's also, of course, the more classic racism takes where people are bitching and moaning that Frieren is racist for the crime of hating the genocidal man-eating deceitful race that wiped out her village, have had overwhelmingly negative and hostile interactions with other people that involve death, and waged a 1,000-year war against every other race. How dare people not be sad when Frieren kills demons? Honestly, you guys are just telling on yourselves when you see an evil and deceptive race and immediately equate them to minorities when humans already exist in the same universe. Yeah guys, I might see a violent, deceptive, man-eating race and immediately assume that it's a minority group, but that just means you're the real racist here. This argument also fails when you realize that demons aren't supposed to represent humans at all. They're just a big bad that the heroes are supposed to overcome, like the Wraith in Stargate, the Necromorphs in Dead Space, Skynet in Terminator, the demons in Doom, and the Empire in Star Wars. The demons in Frieren are just another evil faction that do not and should not represent real world groups. I disavow that belief strongly on both sides of the argument. With that being said though, if the demons in Frieren were real, I would absolutely not trust them at all. They have proven time and time again that they are not to be trusted. Even when they want coexistence, every interaction with them and humans have resulted in human deaths. It's very obvious they have a need to kill people, but that's not surprising considering their origins as man-eating monsters. So the smart thing to do is avoid demons, or kill them if necessary. But the people defending the demons are not smart, so they would live with the demons. Then they would get killed, and I would not feel bad whatsoever. To sum up, the people who try and tie in real-world groups into a fictional evil race that has done nothing but kill and lie are downright delusional and should not be taken seriously whatsoever since they self-project their own racist/fascist beliefs onto fictional races. The demons are evil because they are biologically predisposed to hunt and kill humans, which is reflected in every interaction with demons resulting in death and misery for everyone else.
Oh, just let me that clock keeps ticking like a metronome and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home.
While I have talked about and debunked the various arguments people have used to call Frieren fans racists and fascists, it would not be a proper discussion unless I discuss one of the biggest videos surrounding this topic, which is this video by lextorias talking about the moral dilemma that broke Frieren and how the demons are just misunderstood. While I won't go in depth on this video like many other people have, as this video has already been pretty decently covered and I don't want my video to go on forever, what I will say after watching his video is that if he lived in the world of Frieren,
you're a dead man!
He would end up like that village chief that took in that girl demon. Complete waste of my time, and I will be filing a lawsuit against him to recount myself for a wasted hour. His video is basically a much longer version of the extra credits evil races video, but in the context of Frieren. The main premise of his video, based on this tweet, him upset that this show apparently has the viewers question the morality of the demons so many times that you think there's some twist, only for the show to have, quote, Gary Gyrax levels of biological determination. Oh, boo-hoo, the audacity of a show to have evil characters just be evil instead of doing the totally quirky twist of, what if the bad guys weren't the bad guys? Wow, what a shocking twist. Maybe go watch some other show that does that if it bothers you that much. Frieren clearly doesn't need to have that twist based on the fact that it was one of the biggest shows of last year. And from the looks of it, maybe this year too. Regarding the demons, my argument is that they can feel emotions, but they are unable to understand certain human emotions and concepts such as empathy and guilt. This, coupled with the fact that they evolved from man-eating monsters, their strong physical/magical strength, and you got yourself a whole minefield waiting to kill humans on a whim. I don't exactly blame the demons for this though, because from their perspective, they only use language to get closer to their prey, aka humans, and have immense strength. Why should they feel bad when they hunt and kill their food? I mean, we don't feel bad when we kill cows, chickens, and pigs for our food. Why should the demons feel bad for killing their food? But, as a consequence of this though, demons are fundamentally incompatible with human life. They might as well be alien to us, and as a human, I would not want to be anywhere near a demon, and I know I'm not the only one. Lex also heavily questions if the demons are truly ontologically evil, and honestly, it doesn't matter if the demons are actually truly evil or not, since their actions of killing people are evil. Every interaction with demons and people has them killing them on some sort of whim, so the pointless debate brewing about demons being inherently evil doesn't matter when their actions can speak for themselves. Even when the demons do want coexistence, like the Demon King or Mott wanted, they still ended up killing hordes of humans. So it doesn't matter if a demon truly wants peace or not and can quote-unquote change when the end result is still the same, with that being a ton of dead people. It's like asking if you would rather crash into a concrete wall with no airbag at 100 miles per hour or 120 miles per hour. You're fucked either way. The main issue I have with this video, if you want the SparkNotes version, is the fact that his arguments for the demons in the video basically boil down to him describing their atrocities, and then saying how they can change or have the potential to change, despite every example he shows is a demon or demons killing and being hostile towards people. They continue to kill and eat humans without the biological need to eat them anymore, and overall, every interaction with the demons results in, well, people dying, regardless if the demons want coexistence or not, which I explain much more in depth in one of my previous segments. You know full well this dude was present in those 2017 leftist debate bro circles, was the type of arguments he's making in this video. You know full well he would have pulled a Vosh and started talking about the ethics of COD points.
So, you know, there's pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child rape?
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. If I bought my computer and the silicon in it was farmed in Africa by slaves, if I can do that and that's legal and no one's going to call me out on my shit, then yeah, I have to be consistent in that respect.
Obviously, I'm not saying that Lex's take of demons not being inherently evil is the same as Vosh's take saying child slaves mine silicon, so child porn should also be legal. I'm just saying they both debate bro out to try and prove their argument on slight technicalities or fundamentally flawed assumptions in an attempt to appear intellectually superior. Vosh's flawed argument doesn't account for the fact that you can have ethically mined silicon but not child porn. And Lex's flawed argument is that the demons aren't inherently evil when they kill people freely regardless, which is evil regardless of the intent. It's also funny that he says he made this video because of death threats on Twitter.
So, I left it alone, and I stopped thinking about it. Up until about 9 months later, when I made a tweet about how the demons in the show are kinda weird, and people sent me death threats. So now I get to use the power of my YouTube channel to prove my point.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry you were told to kill yourself or whatever, but it's Twitter, aka the most toxic social media site. What did you expect? That's like if I walked into a crime-ridden neighborhood wearing Gucci and Supreme with gold chains, and then acting surprised that I got mugged and shot. Also, it's the internet, and you're a content creator. The blackpilling part you have to accept is that death threats are bound to happen. It's an occupational hazard. Like, I'm a 400 sub Humegalo YouTuber, and I've already gotten toxic death threats and even been failed doxxed before, just from some of my previous videos. And as much as people say that shouldn't happen, the reality is that it's a bunch of random people saying stuff to other random people. What did you expect? With that preamble out of the way, now he does break down his video into 3 segments, and I will cover the overarching talking points for each of them. The first section is the Dilemma of Evil, where after talking about the plot of Frieren, he even acknowledges that the demons are genocidal, and that they often try to trick and backstab people, similar to my section on the history of demons.
And their actions largely align with this, as in pretty much every subsequent encounter we have with them, they are lying or killing humans.
But I am confused as to why he still tries to defend them as not evil, like every interaction we've seen from them hasn't been to the detriment of other people. It's like seeing a math problem where 2x equals 10, and after dividing the 2, instead of getting x equals 5, you somehow get a wrong answer and just doubled down on it. He even missed that the demons view themselves as beasts.
They can act like humans, even expressing complex emotions, and they can speak like humans and understand our language. but all in service of being able to kill us, all as part of a deception to lower our guard, as we're repeatedly told that demons are actually nothing more than wild beasts, savage monsters who will do anything to satiate their desire to kill. This description of demons as wild beasts is actually one that not only Frieren the character gives, but the demons agree with.
I mean, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. The demons themselves admit that they're nothing more than beasts. Case closed. The main defense for this section is that demons can actually feel emotions like self-preservation, such as during the Aura arc when one demon got killed by Stark and the other one called out for her, getting himself killed in the process.
Going even one step further, one of the first big fights in chapter 20, the conclusion to the demons pretending to make peace with the town, ends with one of the demons getting cut in half by Stark and the other demon crying out their name, which gives Fern enough of an opening to kill them. The way the anime frames it makes it seem like they might just be calling for their ally to help them, but they do cry out after the other demon is dead, while looking in their direction, after it's already been established they can sense when another demon dies. So this feels almost intentionally written like the demon is crying out because their ally died.
Or that demon girl begging for his non-existent mother again before dying in an act of self-preservation.
Once again, begging for their mother before dying. Frieren asks why it says this when demons don't understand the concept of families, and it replies, because it stops you from killing me. And again, this is a reveal for the audience. It's just laying it on thick that demons lie and kill and that's it. But importantly, it shows they lie out of self-preservation. In fact, that's the most common way we see them deceiving people, begging for their life. Which is also strange because we're explicitly told they are being deceptive by doing this, yet they are genuinely begging for their life. They genuinely don't want to die and are acting afraid of dying in order to not die.
Basically tying into this overall idea that demons can feel emotions.
But if that's not enough, demons show actual genuine emotion all the goddamn time. They are often described as prideful and arrogant. They feel genuine excitement and anger and shock and fear in ways that cannot be explained by them just imitating humans to get an advantage, as it is so often not beneficial in any way. With demons calling Frieren a bitch or getting mad at her when she kills them, or expressing some emotion when humans aren't even present.
I can't speak for other people, but my point isn't that demons are purely emotionless, but rather the fact that they can't understand certain emotions/concepts like morality, guilt, empathy, and malice, to name a few. It's like trying to explain shapes and colors to a blind person, or music to a deaf person. Sure, you could tell them the dictionary definitions of those things, and they could repeat it back when asked about it. They cannot truly understand these things, as they are unable to comprehend them. Demons do the same thing, but with various human emotions/concepts. But instead of them simply not understanding it and moving on, they routinely trick and kill people. Especially since a lot of the time they like to deceive and kill on a whim. Keep in mind they no longer need to eat people to live, resulting in devastating consequences once one of them gets the idea of, what if we put 500 people in a giant blender and turned it on? So you will forgive me if I'm not on board with being chill as demons and viewing them as just a ooh-woo little misunderstood race. In that same section, he also makes a case for the demons showing empathy after one of them cries out when another one dies.
And it's made pretty clear the crying out is what drops their guard and gets them killed, which looks to me like a pretty clear-cut expression of empathy.
I mean, I think it had more to do with the fact that they both expected Stark to lose his fight, but whatever you say, man. It's not like that demon was beating the shit out of him and putting him on the back foot until the very last second, when he figured out her main weakness of copying techniques, which is that they don't have any power behind them. I mean, they were just oozing with empathy when they were torturing the Graf of the city to lower his shield so that Aura could come in with her army and destroy it. He then says that since demons actually take pride in their mana to the point of when someone tries to hide it, it's considered disgusting. That means that they do have morality. It's just different from humans.
Though perhaps the strongest contradiction in the demon's nature is that they do actually have some sense of morality. The one thing you would think they obviously don't. Because we're also told that to demons, one's mana level is a source of pride, and almost all demon hierarchies are simply built on who has the most mana. So a technique that Frieren has mastered to be effective at killing demons is to suppress her mana at all times, to appear to have a low amount, to trick a demon into fighting her so she can kill them. It's something she's even taught Fern since pretty much the beginning. This is already interesting because it directly mirrors how demons trick humans with words to kill them, and it comes across as Frieren playing by their rules to get an advantage, literally using that arrogance the demons are described as having against them. But the more interesting part is that when that demon from earlier, the one who cried out at their ally dying, learns that Fern was concealing her mana, they call her a coward. They are visibly disgusted by it. Because again, demons are proud of their mana and think concealing it is a lowly thing to do. So the demon's morality might not align with ours. They're still totally okay with killing after all, but they must have some sense of morality to believe concealing mana to trick them is wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. Again, I can't speak for other people, but demon morality being different from human morality is a problem for people. From the demon girl killing the village chief and presenting his daughter as a substitute to the family whose child she ate, to Mott mass killing villages to try and experience the sensation of malice. We have already seen many instances of demon morality firsthand. So you will forgive me if this still doesn't warm me up to the idea of demons not being inherently evil. It just goes back to demons not understanding certain human concepts, and it showing heavily in any human-demon interaction. Also, demons pride themselves on mana because it is their main advantage in life, enabling them to cast powerful magics. Basically their go-to for status/power in their society, so to hide their magic level is like asking them to not use a limb. It's preposterous from their point of view. The final segment of the first part of his video is him pivoting to Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien and the Orcs, which he ties into the demons in Frieren. After giving some backstory on the Orcs, he talks about how since the Orcs were created by Morgoth, they have no souls, but he argues that Orcs still have morality. It's just not human-based, and evil characters corrupted by Morgoth can still be redeemed.
Treebeard describes them as participating in orcish mischief. And I mean, they still kill and eat people, they still don't have any human morality, but they understand what morality is, and consider some actions to be right or wrong. So just on the basis of all that, they must be sentient. They must have a soul. And when the books treat them as unsympathetic monsters that are killed in the thousands, you can see where Tolkien had an issue. Because remember, all of the other evil creatures are corrupted and are thus given the chance to change. They have the choice to become good again, to fight this corruption. And many do. Several evil characters in the novels get redemption, and the ones who don't typically have some moment where they could repent but choose not to. And because of this, they're all shown at least some amount of mercy until they do something that proves they don't deserve it. Yet the orcs are never given this mercy.
First off, again, that's the issue. Orcs don't have or understand human morality. And it shows when, as you admit yourself, they kill and eat humans.
And I mean, they still kill and eat people.
People already don't fuck with cannibals, and they're considered biologically human. What makes you think they're gonna accept orcs? And as for your other point about other evil characters having the potential to be redeemed but not orcs, you said it yourself, orcs don't have souls.
The only creatures that are described as being totally 100% evil from birth are beings created by Morgoth, who we're told are evil because they don't have souls.
Other evil characters do though. They've just been corrupted. And that gives them an opportunity to change back in the context of Lord of the Rings. It's pretty obvious to conclude that beings with souls have the capacity to change, while beings without souls do not in the Lord of the Rings universe. He also gets upset that the orcs are killed a bunch in brutal ways.
Especially in the movies where they are just decapitated and bifurcated and mowed down without a second thought.
Wow, man, I am shocked that death occurred during a medieval era conflict in brutal ways. You're telling me that when opposing factions clash in medieval settings, all the grunts there die in violent ways? That's crazy, bro. If the foot soldier grunts dying in Lord of the Rings upsets you, then you definitely don't want to see the Russia-Ukraine drone strike footage that's been going around. Then he mentions how Tolkien couldn't handle orcs not being redeemable cannon fodder, so Tolkien tries to come up with various other backstories, although he still prefers the original. And then the first section of this segment is wrapped up with comparing the orcs to demons.
The characters never even think of the possibility of them being redeemable. So this became something that really bothered Tolkien. He never explicitly commented on his feelings about it, but he did try very hard to find a possible solution for it. A way to justify the orcs acting and being treated like that. something you can especially see in his responses to letters that fans wrote to him about this subject. He even went out of his way to try and come up with alternate backstories for the orcs that would fix this, but always ran into the same dilemma. In one scenario, the orcs are descended from elves who were tortured and corrupted by Morgoth, but that means they have souls and shouldn't have been killed indiscriminately. In the original scenario, the orcs are created by Morgoth as imitations of elves. But in that case, they shouldn't really be intelligent because that requires sentience and a soul. The final solution Tolkien left us with in his notes before passing away was just to essentially canonize all of these different contradictory origins, give each of them in his different stories and explanations of the world, so that the true nature of the orcs was left mysterious and you wouldn't have to think about it. Though he did tend to prefer the idea that they were corrupted.
There's just one slight problem with your analysis. Frieren isn't Lord of the Rings. While you can argue that Frieren Beyond Journey's End is inspired from Lord of the Rings, it is still ultimately a standalone show with its own world and properties. Tolkien may have had a change of heart about his evil race, and that's fine and dandy, but so far there's no indication that, sorry if I butcher their names, the writer Kunito Yamada and illustrator Tasuka Abe feel the same way about demons. If they have a change of heart later on and try and retcon the demons like Tolkien did, your argument might hold more merit, but they haven't, so... He ends the section by saying how the orcs and demons tell of morality and the potential to change and are not inherently evil, but you can still hate the ones that kill people and commit genocide and wars.
The demons that committed atrocities and participated in a violent war are not excused by the knowledge that they may have the ability to become good. The demons killed throughout the show are almost always instigators to conflict, after all.
Yeah, I know that every instance of a demon in Frieren we have seen has been them genociding or killing people, but we still need to be contrarian and defend demons on the off chance that they're actually one of the good ones. Ignore the fact that every demon-non-demon interaction has been overwhelmingly negative on the non-demon side. Considering the sheer amount of devastation that we've seen the demons commit, you shouldn't be surprised that people, or Frieren in this case, are not willing to entertain the risk of demons and want them gone. Especially when the price of not doing so is death and destruction on a slim chance that it's one of the good demons. Like yeah, I know not all pit bulls are child maulers, but would you leave an unintended infant with a pit bull on a basis that it might be one of the good ones? It doesn't matter if you debate bro on if the demons are truly evil or not, their actions, as I've extensively covered before, are undoubtedly evil. The end result is still the same. You try and make a case for the demons not being evil, but the demons themselves contradict your every word with their actions. I'm also honestly not at all surprised on Frieren's super anti-demon stance, considering how her home village was wiped out by them and they attempted to genocide her race. Yeah, it's truly a wonder why Frieren wants to wipe them all out. He then transitions into the manga portion of the video and immediately opens it up by saying how there's a coexistence arc called El Dorado that doesn't end well.
From what we've seen of the demons in the show and what I've talked about so far, there are some serious questions raised, and the manga does directly try to answer these, and has an entire arc focused on the possibility of coexistence between humans and demons. And so now it's time to get into that. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well. Now, the specific arc I'm talking about is the Golden City arc, or El Dorado as the most popular fan translation calls it.
Great point, man. The arc that's supposed to show how demons can coexist with people that ends poorly is surely able to convince the people that not all demons are evil. Really batting 1,000 for the crowd tonight. I'm sure as hell convinced after seeing you admit that the coexistence arc turned bad. He then talks about the event where after a younger demon kills a child and expresses joy and asks for praise, then right after proceeds to be killed by another demon. Lex makes the argument that since that demon expressed joy and asked for praise, that demons feel stuff and are not antisocial murder monsters.
Leading into El Dorado, there are a couple of interesting interactions with the demons we see, most notably being another example of a demon asking a question about the meaning of something, this time why humans care about their dead, before getting dismissed again. This demon is actually a young child who is shown to be happy and energetic like a human kid even when humans aren't around. And in an interaction that honestly surprised me, they kill a human, look to their superior with a smile on their face, and say, I did it, master, praise me, and then get cut in half. What the fuck? Why? They think the human is dead. Clearly, but they're showing excitement and looking for praise from their superior? A demon, a creature described as this emotionless antisocial murder monster, is bursting at the seams with a desire for approval.
Yeah, great point, man. It's funny that you poke fun at the idea that demons are referred to as antisocial murder machines when we see one doing just that. Oh, you actually express joy and want to be praised? Fucking die. Killing someone for expressing joy and wanting praise makes you an antisocial murder monster. Best case. Also, as stated before, demons can feel emotions. They just can't understand certain ones. This just goes back to demons not feeling certain emotions like guilt or malice, and coupled with their origins as man-eaters, makes for a deadly combo to humans. Although it looks like demons aren't safe from this either. You're not helping your argument of demons not being inherently evil when you show an example of one killing another for the crime of expressing joy and wanting praise. He finally breaks into the Golden City arc and how Mott is trapped inside a Golden City, but mentions that originally a bracelet was put on him to kill him if malice was detected, only for it to turn out that Mott is incapable of malice, so the entire city with everyone in it is turned to gold. Lex then says that demon/Mott don't know what guilt and malice are, before talking about how Mott seeks coexistence and wants to find out what those emotions are. Apparently the best way to find out what guilt and malice are was to slaughter entire villages and get kids to kill each other.
But malice and guilt are just completely foreign to him, as they are to all demons. So Mott starts devoting his life to finding out how to feel them, because he considers himself a pacifist who just wants to coexist with humans. Yet, the way he tries to learn what emotions are is just by slaughtering villages and getting kids to kill each other in front of him.
Ah yes, the peaceful coexistence by mass killing and making children kill each other. I can't see why Frieren wants to kill all demons. Then he finds a corrupt village lord and works with him only to turn him and his city into gold after 20 years just to see if he can feel something. He doesn't, of course. After all of this, he talks about the fact that the more demons want to coexist with humans, the more they kill them, like was the Demon King wanting coexistence and reducing humanity to 1/3 of its population.
As they say, for a demon to try and understand human emotions would be like trying to understand the inner workings of an ant. And because their primary instinct is to kill, to search for coexistence means to endanger humanity. The closer a demon gets to humans to learn more about them, the more of them they'll end up killing, because they just can't help it. Even Mocked just destroyed an entire town on a whim. So at the end of the arc, when Frieren faces off against him, she tells him that even if it were possible for demons to learn to coexist, it would take so long and leave so many people dead that it wouldn't even be worth it to pursue. Frieren couldn't let it happen. It's effectively not an option. As she tells us, the Demon King himself wanted coexistence too, and that's what led to 1/3 of humanity being wiped out in the first place.
Before talking about how the nature of the demons shifts from magic or divinity to biological determinism.
So this changes basically our entire understanding of the demons. Now the question of evil is fully shifted from any kind of magic or divinity towards essentially biological determinism, the idea that they're programmed to act this way and don't have any way of stopping it.
He also brings up my main issue with the demons.
Evil does not have anything to do with maliciousness. The fact that they feel no malice towards the people they kill means effectively nothing. By human standards, and the standards of the story, killing innocent people is morally reprehensible. It is an evil thing to do and to be okay with doing. The emotions you did or did not feel during, be damned. And they do it even though they don't have to.
Yeah, it's almost like intent doesn't matter when the outcome from every demon is going to be the exact same, which is killing people. You're so close to getting it, but you continue to preen and jerk yourself off in some sort of pseudo-intellectual debate bro high. He also proceeds to give more examples of demons showing emotion.
Oh, and by the way, the manga does drop basically every other pretense that they're wild animals during this arc. I mean, throughout the whole thing, they're emotional and empathetic towards other demons, like, the entire time.
Again, the issue is that demons can't feel certain emotions and that they kill innocent people because of it. Just because they feel emotions doesn't make the killing that they do any better. He then mentions how the demons have been changed from soulless killing machines to just sociopaths with serial killer genes. They can think logically and understand morality, and can be redeemed, but Frieren still wants to kill all of them.
Shifting the demons from the classic interpretation of evil beings created or corrupted by some dark force to what are essentially sociopaths with a serial killer gene doesn't change that they're beings who we're told are wholly irredeemable because of this. even though they can think logically and understand morality and all that. We're just told that doesn't matter. They can't. Their intentions don't actually mean anything, because their nature is to be evil, and even if they try to overcome that, that will just result in them doing more evil. The story is still claiming every single demon is unworthy of mercy, and Frieren is in the right for wanting to eradicate them. She knew about the demon's desire for coexistence all along, after all. This isn't even a revelation for her. She doesn't care if there's a chance they might change. She wants them all dead before that can happen.
Yo, dumbass, maybe don't put in the part where the Demon King kills 2/3 of the human population for coexistence to disprove Frieren's anti-demon stance. That moment when demons try and do heckin' wholesome coexistence, only to end up in a 1,000-year war against all the other races where you end up killing 2/3 of the human population and try and genocide the elves. Thank you, Lex, for telling me what coexistence really means. If that's coexistence, I don't want to see what the demons are like when they actually want to genocide people. It seems to me like demons always want to kill people, regardless of whether or not they want coexistence. It goes back to what I was saying at the start of this video. The intention of the demons don't matter when the end result of every human-demon interaction is the same, was dead innocent people. Mot's idea of desiring coexistence was to massacre entire villages and make children fight to the death.
Because he considers himself a pacifist who just wants to coexist with humans. Yet, the way he tries to learn what emotions are is just by slaughtering villages and getting kids to kill each other in front of him.
Some demons may actually want coexistence, but the cost of life to do so is so vast that they're probably just better off trying to kill humans on sight like it's Trios and Salamontes. His next point is that demons aren't given a chance to change. He mentions it briefly in the previous clip, and then talks about how there's a theme of nothing is impossible in Frieren, but it's apparently hypocritical that the demons are unable to do this.
And the strangest part of it all is that this is happening while one of the most prominent themes throughout this arc, the one that Frieren herself faces, is the idea that nothing is impossible. It's a theme that exists throughout the story, but here they specifically focus on it. We see Frieren give up several times because she thinks something can't be done, and we see someone alongside her keep trying anyways, and through their efforts they convince Frieren that it's possible, so she does it. Nothing is impossible in this world, says the manga, while having a character find it impossible to overcome their nature, while Frieren says it is impossible for demons and humans to coexist without bloodshed. And while the story tells us it is impossible to understand the inner workings of the demons.
Apparently demons obviously can't change at all if all they do is kill people. You said it yourself, demons have emotions and think logically.
Even though they can think logically and understand morality and all that. We're just told that doesn't matter.
And yet they still choose to kill people. And that happens best case when they do want coexistence. We are shown this firsthand in every human-demon interaction. I don't know what's so hard to understand about this. The demons actively kill innocent people, regardless of whether or not they want coexistence or not. Therefore, from a logical perspective, it would be better for humanity's survival if demons were killed. And since Frieren is killing demons, it works out for humans. It's so funny that this dude talks about demons not having a chance to change, when they have been given this chance multiple times. First was that girl demon and the village chief who gave her a home despite her killing and eating a child. And the second was Lugner and his peace envoy invited into a city. Both events involved humans reaching out and seeking coexistence with demons. Now tell me, how do those stories play out again? Oh yeah, that girl demon burned down the village chief's house, killed him, and held his daughter hostage. Lugner and his party ended up capturing and torturing Graf Granite to try and get him to lower the city shields so that Aura could come in with her army and destroy it. Point is, the demons were given multiple chances to change and improve themselves, and despite the fact that they think logically and feel emotions, as you like to remind us, they still choose to spit on the hand of peace and kill innocent people regardless. They made their choices and they can deal with the consequences. He then talks about Frieren being a subversion of a subversion with the demons and gets butthurt about how subversions are apparently supposed to be creative.
People call Frieren's handling of the demons a sort of subversion of a subversion, taking the idea that many pieces of media take the evil fantasy race from Tolkien and do actually try to redeem them. So Frieren not redeeming them is subverting that. But the idea of subversion is that it should add an interesting element to explore, or take some idea and build on it in a way you weren't expecting. Yet Frieren's demons are doing the exact opposite. They are stripping away interesting ideas to revert them back to their simpler form.
Dude, you do know two negatives make a positive, right? So a subversion of a subversion is just playing the original trope straight. You just sound ass mad that there isn't some quirky subversion twist. The last points he makes is him talking about how Frieren is still a journey despite being called Frieren beyond Journey's End, and him re-summarizing his points in the manga section, ending with him being butthurt that coexistence isn't possible with the demons yet.
This is the most recent chapter as of this recording. It could go in any direction after the video gets uploaded. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to assume the morality of the demons isn't questioned any further. I hope it is. I hope I'm proven wrong from this point out and the video ages like milk or whatever, but I'm going to treat the story as if this is all the information we're going to get.
Wow, you really don't get it, do you? The issue with the demons wanting coexistence is that even when they do want peace, they still end up killing tons of innocent people, like the Demon King in his 1,000-year war against all the other races, which resulted in 2/3 of humanity dying and the attempted genocide of the elves, and Mott killing entire villages and making children fight to the death to find out what malice and guilt are. All this debate brewing about demons being inherently evil and coexistence doesn't matter, because even when they do want peace, the end result is still the mass murders of innocents. How many more innocent people need to be massacred before you just realize that demon coexistence is just people dying? How many more genocides and massacres do you think it will take before people might find a way to coexist with demons in the future? No, bro, you don't understand. True existence has never been tried before. We just need one more group of people massacred. It'll work this time, surely. The last part is Twitter and him mauling that he got called meaty words online.
But I thought it was especially funny that this reaction to criticism about an anime promoting the value of friendship had people calling me more slurs than I've ever seen.
Yeah, that happens, like I said before. And I'm sorry you were told to kill yourself or got called an NF. And I ain't talking about no rapper and other meanie words or whatever. But IDK what you expect on the social media equivalent of League of Legends. Twitter has been a toxic cesspit for the longest time. Then he tries to bring up Starship Troopers and how there's no rational discussion without a line in the sand.
Now, unfortunately, a lot of this comes from the discourse being poisoned. A while back, Starship Troopers, a similar story about mankind fighting alien bugs that are said to be evil on the story surface but shown to be more complex than that, was trending on Twitter. And some very enlightened individuals decided to turn this into a political compass test, drawing a line in the sand and saying if you empathize with the bugs, you're on this side, if you want to kill them, you're on this side, which then expanded to any discussion of the morality of different races and creatures in media. And this makes sense. A lot of especially extreme ideologies already promote the eradication of groups you consider morally lesser than you outside of fiction. So if you believe in one of those ideologies, well, you'd want to agree that the characters in Frieren or Starship Troopers should do just that, regardless of the facts of the story. Which is why these stories have picked up rather large followings from these crowds. But unfortunately, this has just completely bulldozed any meaningful discussion on topics like this for a lot of people, since the desire to stick to a side for political reasons overrides everything else.
Maybe don't try and debate, bro, on the ethics of the bugs starting a war with humanity or demons killing people for emotional experiments. You just come across as a pseudo-intellectual debate bro loser. People also don't like it when you misrepresent points and lie to debate pervert for nuance, as I will shortly show. I'm also going to quickly debunk some common arguments against Starship Troopers. While the humans and bugs had skirmishes due to territory issues, the real kicker to the war started off when the bugs launched an asteroid at Buenos Aires, killing 9 million. I know people like to theorize online that the Buenos Aires attack was a false flag by humanity, but there's no actual proof in the books or movies that situation is possible, or if anyone even has a shred of evidence that points to it being remotely implied. Even in the movies where people cite the asteroid as being too precise for it to be the bugs, it's likely that the bugs might have used one of their transport bugs, which do have interstellar travel capabilities. Note in the books, the bugs do have FTL. Or the other option is that the director of the movie, Paul Verhoeven, simply didn't understand how space physics worked and nobody corrected his oversight. If you're not going to believe any of my theories over some Redditors, here's a clip of Paul explicitly stating the opposite of Buenos Aires was an inside job.
Real history started with the Mormon extremists. setting up a colony in a territory that they were not asked to come into, which is the Klandatu, let's say the Arachnid territory. And then we, and basically after they retaliate, and they retaliate by killing the Mormons, but also by sending a meteor to Buenos Aires, as we see later in the movie, then we get really pissed off and forget about all that.
So already that's one of the main reasons that people use to have nuanced, meaningful discussions of other races revealed as a lie. Speaking of Paul, he grew up during World War II in The Hague during the German occupation of it, and it left a mark on him from seeing the brutality of war. It has such an impact on him that when he was chosen to direct Starship Troopers, he let his childhood biases leak all over onto the movie, which is directly responsible for a large swath of media literate people preach and preen about how Starship Troopers is a satire on sci-fi military fascism. Please note, Paul never read the book past the first couple of chapters and falsely declared the government in the book to be fascist, when in reality they are an enfranchised democracy. The only catch in the Starship Troopers Earth government is that while everyone has basic rights like free speech, aka civilians, in order to actually vote and hold office, aka be a citizen, you must first participate in some form of government work for the next few years. While enlisting in the military is the fastest way to get full rights, there are also other ways you can enter federal service in order to become a citizen. Any civilian has the right to work in federal service in order to become a citizen. This service is also entirely voluntary and you can choose to resign at any time. The only catch is that you're not allowed to enlist for federal service again, and so will never be able to vote. And believe it or not, it's not fascism to make people show that they are dedicated to the needs of the community before they themselves are able to govern, or choose who to govern. Especially when any civilian has the right to enlist in federal service at any time, as well as being able to choose from non-military federal service. There is no fascism in Starship Troopers, so when Paul tries to make it a fascist satire, it falls flat because there is never any fascism to satirize in the first place, on the basis of an enfranchised democracy not being a fascist regime. While I am not above the idea of criticizing the government for prioritizing military service, an enfranchised democracy is not fascist. You don't get to try and talk about the nuances of evil fictional races when the arguments supporting these races are based on lies. Like saying Starship Troopers has a fascist government when it's really just an enfranchised democracy, or how the demons in Frieren can coexist with people, despite the fact that they kill hordes of innocent people, even in the name of coexistence. When you lie about other stuff in order to try and give nuance to the evil races, it just ends up backfiring and enables everyone else to draw lines in the sand, as you put it. But back to Lex, he also acts surprised that people would cite manga panels of the demons themselves saying they are evil, like that's supposed to change our minds on demons being evil.
But what really got me, what actually made me kind of upset, was just the surprising amount of people responding to my tweet by essentially saying, "No, what are you talking about? The demons are unquestionably evil. Here's a panel where they say so. Here's the logic justifying their evilness." This was far and away the most common opinion I saw, the vast majority of the response to my tweet, outside of the bad faith insults, being disagreements with specifically my questioning of the story's logic, like me bringing up the contradictions was the worst thing I said. And this truly made me feel insane, like actually insane.
Oh no, the demons themselves are saying that they're evil. How dare you assume that they're evil based on themselves confirming it? You know it's bad when even the most sympathetic source that could paint themselves in the most positive light is saying what we're all thinking. It's very telling that the demons could try and give some sort of justification for their actions, but they don't even try it because they know that it's bad. Holy shit. You deserve all the toxic ass responses for debate bro and the ethics of demons mass killing people in the name of coexistence. I mean, sure, you can argue that they want coexistence and aren't irredeemably evil, but if the end result of demons wanting coexistence is the same as if they just wanted to wage war, with mountains of dead, innocent bodies, why should humans coexist with demons if the end result is just going to be the same? You would think the many examples of where demons just kill people en masse, either to attack towns or in the name of coexistence, would say otherwise. But oh no, clearly random YouTuber Glupshido knows more about the manga than the creators. And that's pretty much it for the video before he goes to his concluding thoughts. It's just some dude debate perverting the fact that demons aren't inherently evil monsters. They are apparently just misunderstood and can also be redeemed and seek coexistence. So what if they mass kill entire towns and cities in the name of coexistence and every human-demon interaction ends up with dead people? Those are just little oopsie-whoopsies in the name of peace. I mean, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Am I right or am I right? But for real, this video is basically just some stuck-up, self-pretentious media literacy expert trying to act pseudo-intellectual and circle jerk a contrarian opinion. His reaction online to all of this is just him fuming that people didn't actually watch the video before making assumptions about it. Yeah, guess what? I watched the whole thing and it sucks. Maybe don't tell us about all the atrocities that demons do and then follow it up with but they can be redeemed. They're not irredeemably evil. That's not very convincing. Or better yet, don't make this video at all. There's no way to make this video without showing contradictory proof or lying about context, both of which isn't a good idea. If I really want to be a dick and hammer in how your points suck, I would have just replayed you describing the demon atrocities every time you talked about the demons not being irredeemably evil and seeking coexistence. Because again, describing the atrocities of a murderous race but justifying it as they want coexistence isn't really convincing. If there's a group of people that claim and want peaceful relations with other people, but they still end up violently attacking and stabbing other people regardless, does it really matter if they had peaceful intent? Or are they still just another problem group that needs to be dealt with? Going back to more generalized online discourse regarding Frieren, like I said before, a certain group of people have started viewing Frieren viewers as racist and fascist, due to the fact that Frieren viewers have the audacity to treat the mass-killing demons as evil, since the aforementioned minority group self-owns and projects black and brown people as the demons. But we can't have that now, can we? Just freely giving one of the more popular animes of the time freely to the racists and fascists, virtually uncontested. Something had to be done. Before I cite this next piece of evidence though, as I previously mentioned before, the left started to say that Frieren was a right/far-right coded anime show with virtually zero pushback given to this silly notion, at least on their own political side. This was done because Frieren committed the grand crime of killing demons who are more than happy to kill innocent people on many different occasions, with some of their more notable crimes being false peace envoys and attempted genocide under their belts. Then was the left very obviously fumbling their treatment of Frieren. They continue to talk about how Frieren is racist and fascist coded, implying that it's racist and fascist to not feel bad about killing a race that has done nothing but kill swaths of innocent people, even in the name of coexistence. This, unsurprisingly, rubbed many people the wrong way, as saying people are fascist since you can't help but project to evil demons as minority groups, as I said before, is a crazy self-own. So obviously people are going to start running with that point in order to mock you guys for it. As a consequence of this, the right was obviously going to adopt it in order to satirically mock that talking point. And because if you tell someone not to do something, they're going to want to do it more, and that goes double online. It's not even necessarily the right that mocks the people making the irredeemably evil demons equals problematic minority allegory, as trying to tie in a fantasy world into real life settings is incredibly stupid on its own. It's basically 2016 all over again, when a large portion of leftists deem stuff like the OK hand sign or milk as white supremacist neo-Nazi dog whistles, and just freely handed the far right and the regular right by extension some of the most widely known and prolific symbols and things for free. Why don't you guys just give the right the cultural victory and fuck off? So nice to know that history repeats itself. Imagine being so politically insecure that you automatically just lash out and assume that the show is fascist and racist just because Frieren hates demons based on how they act in the show. Even on the off chance that some of the people who do watch Frieren are fascist/racist, guess what? Worst case scenario is an insignificant group of people whose opinions won't actually hold any real weight, and rightfully so. Statistically, if something gets popular enough, which Frieren did, there are bound to be problematic people who engage with the medium. Are we also going to consider Steam to be for racists and fascists just because out of the hundreds of millions of people who use it, there are bound to be some racists and fascists in such a wide net of people? But back to the Frieren discourse. The big brains engaging in said discourse came up with this ingenious idea. What if instead of saying that demons are the minorities, what if demons actually were the racists? Whoa, what a subversive and unique twist. I am sure the guys that compare demons to minorities will still continue to defend the demons selflessly now that they can twist them into groups that they hate. And nope, it's people now doing a complete 180, cheering for the eradication of demons now that they can project their own beliefs onto them, in the same way that they were crying about people projecting racism and fascism onto Frieren. Glad to know that all convictions and morals fly out the window when you can twist things to your side. Before I get anyone in my comments talking about some, oh, you have a problem with anti-racist messages? No, the problem I have from this, aside from the very performative racism is bad message, like yeah, thanks random internet user, I would have never known racism is bad without you, is the hypocrisy of it. When you guys thought demons represented minorities and that Frieren was some sort of racist/fascist herself, you guys had tons of issues with the depiction of demons. But now that the demons are twisted into a group that you guys hate, mysteriously, you guys have no issues now. They also had a follow-up tweet where they talked about how they didn't care about the controversy at all about Frieren, by the way, which is just a blatant lie, considering how you took time to draw your comic, and then admitted getting mad later on in the same post. If you want to be mad, just be mad. Don't do this cringe holier-than-thou talk, where you talk about how definitely not mad you are even though your actions state otherwise. I also like how that same person who made that comment ended up getting so butthurt because he's a Turk interjecting into American culture war discourse that he ended up posting this. Yeah, how dare the guy that decided to fan the flames of the Frieren culture war discourse get upset that not everyone liked him for it. What a shocker that people think you're lame because you basically just did the X character agrees with me, so I automatically win the argument. Basically what the 5-year-olds would do on the playground saying, my favorite character agrees with me, therefore I win the argument. Which is just unbelievably corny. Sorry, not sorry, progressive statements aside. If you're unable to make arguments as simple as racism bad without using fictional characters as your mouthpiece, then maybe you don't have anything worthwhile to say. All you're telling us is that you can't actually form arguments and have to resort to going, oh guys, look at the popular character saying my message. You should agree with my beliefs now. It's lazy and shows how weak your arguments are. Also, for the record, I disavow anyone using Frieren to propagate any form of racism in real life, as the in-universe reason why Frieren hates demons in the anime/manga is very self-explanatory and makes sense, since they, tried to genocide her race, massacred her home village, and they are just brutal murder machines regardless of intent, which I already explained in painstaking detail earlier in the video. So the demon hate makes sense considering all the vile stuff they get up to. And to try and equate that to real-life groups of people is downright delusional, since each different race of people do have the capacity to do objective good. But back to the demons are racist discourse, it predictably devolved into people posting stuff like, the demons are white people, the demons are white people, the demons are white people, you're retarded and you have 8, you're retarded and you have 8, you're retarded and you have 8. How about that? Also,
you're raped! You're totally raped! You're fucking pathetic, bro! You are totally and utterly fucking pathetic, dude! I've never seen such a raped individual before.
I really like how the attempt to reclaim Frieren went from using it against racists, which while corny, at least in regards to delivery, is at least a good message, and it just evolved into general hatred against white people. There's a certain term used to describe people who openly hate other races for no good reason. If only I could remember. It's ironic though that the people who cried about racists using Frieren for their own purposes ended up using it to push their own version of racism, basically just saying the quiet part out loud. They also posted afterwards being incredibly butthurt that they got negative attention from their incredibly controversial tweet. Oh wow man, I can't believe that you posted something controversial and then acted completely surprised when the replies are also controversial in nature. How can this be? The thing that gets me though isn't the fact that this was eventually bound to happen, since the culture war requires an infinite amount of fuel for 2 losing sides. But despite all the talk about the only people watching Frieren being neo-Nazis and racists, Frieren is still a widely viewed show, meaning that statistically, a decent amount of people who watched and enjoyed Frieren can fit into any possible group, be it left or right-wing people. It's crazy to me how people would defame Frieren viewers as fascists and racists, all because they had one negative interaction with someone unhinged online. It's just super funny how after all of the moral effing about demons being minorities and we're not supposed to feel good about them being killed, now that these same people can self-project their hated groups onto the demons, all of a sudden it's good now. We can emulate the behavior of the other side because it suits our worldview. I made the dreadful mistake of pointing this out, and I instantly got slobbering retards in replies talking some shit like, "Nerd, this is the shit you rightoids do." Yeah guys, pointing out an obvious hypocrisy means you're clearly right-wing. The more morally consistent you are, the more right-wing you are. That's clearly how it works. Nice self-own implying that moral consistency is a right-wing trait. I also like how this dude resorted to name-calling and instantly tried to dismiss me as right-wing, despite the fact that most of my beliefs are left-leaning. They also couldn't even prove that I was wrong. They just lied about me being right-wing and posted some random picture that doesn't even correspond to the topic at hand. Speaking of that proof, his best proof to try and disprove what I was saying is some dude posting a Frieren picture while saying to kill minority groups. Yeah, for sure, man. An uberglup shitto who has a restriction on their tweets with zero reach on it is definitely the same as what I'm saying. Outstanding. You have cancer AIDS. Go back to retweeting giveaways since you're a broke ass bitch. I spit on you. I'm talking about the hypocrisy of people using Frieren and culture war stuff, and you're drooling on yourself was an image of some unhinged lunatic saying slurs. Again, I disavow anyone using Frieren for their side of the culture war. The demons in Frieren do not represent minorities, and Frieren has a really good reason to kill demons. Between them trying to genocide her race in a 1,000-year war, wiping out her hometown, and them just being brutal killers overall. The truly funny or ironic part to this whole discourse to all the demons are actually racists is that despite the new wave of support and a chance to reclaim a popular anime/manga for the left, which while would be cancerous as fuck to everyone else and would alienate you from everyone else, it is objectively the best course of action in regards to a cultural victory for your political side, at least for your in-group. But no, they're such screw-ups that they can't even do this simple task. Right after the demons are racist discourse, you had people posting stuff like, average Frieren fan as a quote retweet over an image of a swastika covered room. Fascists prefer animes with 1,000-year-old elves as another post. Holy shit, you guys fumbled the ball hard. Imagine getting spoon-fed the opportunity to quote unquote reclaim one of the biggest shows in recent history and immediately shoot yourselves in the foot and repass it back to the other side simply because you guys can't see genocidal murderous demons as nothing more than minorities. Keep flip-flopping and shooting yourselves in the foot in this never-ending culture war. I'm personally gonna enjoy the long-lived elf show for what it is and not drag my real-world beliefs into it. So now that we got the whole demons and Frierens are minorities discourse out of the way, surely there has to be some other Frieren discourse aside from calling Frieren fans racists and fascists, especially with season 2 in full swing. The good news, there is other discourse. The bad news is that this discourse is probably just as dumb as the demons are minorities one, if not more so. So it starts off when this person posts about how Frieren could be better if Himmel was a more flawed/grey character. Basically, this dude is just upset that Frieren has the audacity to make a hero character actually be a good person and not just be a secret piece of shit. Because, oh yeah, that's so innovative and creative, man. What if, like good guy, wasn't always like good guy? Crazy concept that's definitely never been done before, man. You're clearly the first to think of it. Why couldn't anyone else come up with this idea? Your heckin' media literacy is through the roof. You're just obsessed with the concept of what if the pure virtuous thing isn't actually pure and virtuous. And Himmel has made mistakes. A major one being when he let that girl demon live, who eventually ended up killing a village chief and ended up holding that chief's daughter hostage. I know you disagree on that example, but he did it because he legitimately thought that the demons could change and be better. AKA he was extremely naive, which can be considered an actual negative trait. Despite this, Himmel still strives to be the best and put his best foot forwards. I actually appreciate Frieren playing it straight with the good guy trope, as the good guy who's actually a terrible person trope is a bit overdone at this point. I actually appreciate Frieren playing it straight, as the good guy who's actually a terrible person trope is a bit overdone. But to make a long story short, they were not happy with people disagreeing with their media literate take of replacing one generic trope with another generic trope. And so they decided to pull the Twitter/X classic of writing a massive cope thread. Yeah man, just keep posting through it. You're doing great. Did you know that you were actually one more unhinged paragraph away from convincing everyone that you were right? Why don't you post some more? Fun fact, when I went to screenshot this entire thread, I couldn't even get the whole thing even after zooming out to the max. This is the best I got. Some gems to this absolute essay Bruta was him saying that he activated the Palantir chip of rightoids. Dude, just say Jews at this point. You guys no longer make the Jewish Zionist distinction anymore. Also, none of these people are crying about the fall of Western civilization. They're flaming you for being a retarded communist, which you are. A worldview of you need to have good people be flawed for no other reason than just because sucks. The other thing of note in that long-ass thread is that some of the issues he has with Frieren is their treatment of demons. So nice to know that the demon discourse is inescapable. It's also very interesting that he doesn't like the morality of Frieren, especially considering some of the real-world groups he likes and supports, such as Hamas, the terrorist organization, and North Korea, one of the most oppressive authoritative dictatorships. Hamas is mainly known now for the October 7th attacks, where they violently attacked and killed many innocent civilians, with some of them being raped, tortured, and brutally killed. They also have a very long history of attacking Israel with rocket bombardments mainly, ever since they came to power in Palestinian territories in 2006. And while there have been periods of ceasefire between them and Israel, it has very obviously not worked out. Now I know Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF are monsters and should be held accountable for their crimes, but we don't need to support the murderous rapist terrorists in order to do so. As for North Korea, they tightly monitor and suppress their citizens, prohibiting contact with the outside world, especially South Korea, with minor criticisms of the North Korean government being a jailable offense. Speaking of jails, they force people they arbitrarily jail into intensive prison labor for various projects, and enforce this prison work with physical coercion. Of course, there was also the food shortage incident in Korea, where most of the remaining food got delivered to the elites and the military, leaving everyone else to fend for themselves in a blatant act of selfishness. Of course, you can't forget about North Korea's death penalties, where they execute you for the crimes of attempting to leave the country, accessing foreign media, and criticizing the government. Wow, I can't imagine why not many people like North Korea. You know you got a great country when you actively try and kill everyone who leaves. And before anyone accuses me of falling for CIA propaganda for North Korea, these North Korean crimes were discovered by the UN. So unless you want to pull an Alex Jones and tell me that the 193 countries in the UN are CIA propaganda, I'd suggest you actually do some basic research on the groups you're defending. I found out about the Hamas and North Korean crimes in 10 to 15 minutes of Googling. Those Hamas and North Korea posts do bring his "Himmel would be better if he was morally gray" post into question though. As with those two posts in mind, do you think his idea of Himmel being more interesting / morally gray was if Himmel was raping and killing innocent civilians and committing terrorist attacks? Or if Himmel ran an authoritative dictatorship where he ruled over the peasants with an iron fist, with arbitrary arrests and forced prison labor under brutal conditions? Really makes you think. If you thought that was the end of it though, you'd be wrong. He just keeps doubling down. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he has a humiliation kink. While he's getting busted up online, he's busting nuts in real life. All of his Frieren arguments can basically be summed up as,
arrogance and stupidity all in the same package. How efficient of you.
But yeah, his attempts to defend himself are completely pathetic. His first defense was to talk about how people defending Frieren promote content by people called Lolly Hitler Rapist 88. Okay, so we're just grasping at straws here when you imply that everyone who thinks that your take of replace generic trope with other generic trope is retarded supports Lolly Hitler Rapist 88. Absolute shower thought strawman argument. This the best you got after arguing with your shampoo bottles? Wait, no, that actually implies that you shower. 0 out of 10. Use more buzzwords next time. But I mean, hey, if your take is so retarded that the imaginary people who retweet Lolly Hitler Rapist 88 can look good, maybe you should take that as a sign of how dogshit your argument is if these people can dunk on you easily. Kind of a self-own on your part. Something broken clocks are right twice a day. But it ultimately doesn't matter because it turns out that this dude was just lying through the skin of his teeth.
You think black people... What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
The very next day, he posts about how there's Nazis in the Frieren fandom that use Nazi dog whistles. So now we finally get to see these fabled lolly Hitler rapists 88s and the people who retweet them, right? Well, no. After looking through the screenshots, feel free and pause to look through them yourself, I couldn't help but notice a distinct lack of people who have any mention of lolly Hitler rapist 88 in their usernames, or who have retweeted lolly Hitler rapist 88 or whatever.
You think black people... What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Whoa, that's crazy, man. The guy who goes to bat for rapist terrorist groups and authoritative dictatorships is dishonest. Must be another day that ends in Y. The claim that these people are using Nazi dog whistles is also an outright lie, as when you look at the screenshots again, they're all just basically saying how they appreciate that Frieren doesn't try and do the morally gray trope and how they're sick of it. I guess if you're sick of the morally gray character trope, you're a Nazi now. Everyone I don't like is Hitler, by the way. Can't even be sick of a generic trope without the Nazi dog whistle accusations.
You're retarded, you have AIDS.
As I've stated earlier, this dude is a glutton for punishment, so he also posts this where he makes fun of the concept of a hero not doing good deeds for monetary gain, as well as mocking the show's slow pacing, which I know for a fact because he got into an argument with someone over this, which he doesn't even deny. And then posts a clip trying to prove his point, but ultimately shoots himself in the foot. As it shows Stark not understanding why Frieren helps people without reward, so he asks. And then Frieren answers in such a way that causes Stark to remember his own personal experience protecting his town. So the flashback makes sense in this instance. The flashbacks make sense since Stark asked Frieren the same question that she asked Himmel, which was why she helped people without a reward. She answered in the same way that Himmel did, which is to protect more people, and this causes Stark to remember him protecting his own village. Everything checks out. You don't even elaborate on why this is supposed to be a bad thing. It was also revealed from that very same clip that this dude is a dirty 2x show speed watcher. Dude, how cooked is your brain that you gotta watch anime in 2x speed? Actually dog subhuman behavior. Hey man, would Frieren be better for you if there were Subway Surfers or Family Guy clips playing at the bottom of the screen? Or you're more of a soap cutting video guy? Maybe some jangling keys? But all of the Frieren hate from this dude makes so much more sense now. It's just some dude ass mad that Frieren is a slower paced show and isn't aura and hype moments 24/7, even though Frieren still has its fair share of action scenes. He of course claims that he doesn't watch anime in 2x speed, but considering how he's a known bad faith liar, that's cap. But even if he wasn't lying, yeah, the show's pretty slow. Everyone knows this. Why are you trying to make your tweet for people who can't watch a 1 to 2 minute clip, when most of the people who watch Frieren have no issues engaging with that kind of clip from the show? If you don't like a slower paced show, it's one thing, but IDK why you're still watching Frieren when it's obvious that it's not working out for you, let alone trying to be inflammatory about it for Twitter/X engagement. At least get a blue check if you're gonna be this inflammatory. And it's not just me noticing this. Other people have also picked up on the fact that when they give him actual criticisms of his Frieren takes, he will refuse to engage with them, instead opting to get down and dirty in the mud and shit-fling with everyone else calling him names. Because as this person says, he refuses to engage with people who actually debunk his statements, but will argue with low-hanging fruit over a fight that he started. It's pretty obvious that this dude's issues with Frieren is that A, it does generic trope X instead of generic trope Y, and B, the slow pacing of the show. Yeah, so basically when Frieren Discourse isn't calling people Nazis and racists over the demons and at worst, an extremely small minority of people who watch the show, it's people who are upset that Frieren is a slower paced show and don't understand that replacing generic trope with another generic trope isn't any better, or who ultimately just have an issue with slower paced shows. If you don't like slower paced shows, that's one thing, but it's another to whine about how you have an issue with the pacing and not actually explain why it's bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with slower paced shows. As a matter of fact, I like a fair bit of them myself, and based on the popularity of Frieren, I can tell that I'm not alone in this stance. Something tells me that this is only the beginning though, and that Frieren is going to be subject to a lot more discourse in the future. Here's to another 100 years of people aggressively posturing that Frieren is a slower paced show, or culture war stuff about how demons are black people or something. So to sum up, what do we learn about Frieren beyond Journey's End? Well, I learned that there's a lot of pointless discourse surrounding the anime/manga, with people who project Frieren's treatment of demons onto real-world minorities, calling Frieren fans racist and fascist. This is done by people who somehow can't comprehend why someone whose home village was destroyed by demons would not like demons very much. It baffles me that people see the demons continuously act overwhelmingly negative towards other people at every possible instance, with the end result being dead innocent people, and still continue to defend them. Major, I know more about Frieren than the creators type energy right there. If you actually paid attention to the anime/manga though, it's not really a surprise that the demons act this way. They are the descendants of man-eating monsters, many times stronger than humans, and while demons do feel emotions, they can't understand certain emotions and concepts like guilt, empathy, or malice. The end result is a group that kills people with ease and doesn't feel bad doing so. Even if we don't include Frieren's origins against the demons have still not done themselves any favors, with every interaction between them and non-demons eventually ending in the demons killing people. Even when an olive branch of peace is reached out to demons, they burn it up and throw it away, like that girl demon, who even after eating a child is still given a chance to change, only to end up killing the village chief and hold his daughter hostage. Or what about the peace envoy sent by Aura, which ended up being a Trojan horse to try and get a city to lower its shield so she could come in and destroy the place. Even when demons genuinely desire coexistence, like Mott and the Demon King, they still kill large swaths of people. So does the coexistence really matter if the end result is going to be the same, with dead innocents? Like Mott, who turned entire towns into gold and made children fight to the death to find out what malice and guilt were, even going so far as to turn a close friend of his into gold just to see if he could feel something. He didn't. As for the Demon King, his desire for coexistence somehow led him to wage a 1,000-year war that tried to genocide the elves and cut humanity down to 1/3 of its population. How's that for peaceful coexistence? And people will still defend the demons like they didn't kill hordes of innocent people regardless of their desires. While I think that we shouldn't extend this demon mentality to the real world, it's obvious that the demons can't get along well with others and pose a significant threat. Therefore, they should be dealt with appropriately in the context of Frieren's universe. We don't need to make 1-hour-long videos defending the demons because they kill for coexistence or whatever. They're still bad. For a race that you claim to feel emotions and be intelligent, they can't seem to understand how not to kill innocent people. Even when the discourse isn't demon-centric, it's people who think that replacing generic trope with other generic trope would improve the show, even going so far as to accuse people of Nazi dog whistles when they disagree, and then it's revealed that this dude's a troglodyte who watches anime in 2x speed. TikTok is down the hall and to your left. You also can't even explain why this point is actually bad, especially when the flashbacks make sense in this context since Stark asked Frieren the same question she asked Himmel. The crazy part about all of this is that the second season isn't even done yet, and I predict there will be a lot more Frieren discourse in the future, be it regurgitated demon discourse or something else. But regardless of what it is, here's to another 1,000 years of Frieren discourse. Alright, that's all I have to say. See ya.